Hello everybody, how are you guys doing? Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be teaching you something really great. We're going to be learning how to build a simple vanilla JavaScript carousel with a slider. So that's what we have here. So we have these images here, and we have a button here that can slide through these images. So we just have a slideshow right here. Okay, also we can come back here and click in here, and it goes back to this. It goes back, so it's just kind of moving, sliding through the images, something like an infinite slide. Okay, so we have images that we used to do. This is the first image. Okay, we have 5 images here. So that's this is the first image. I'm going to be showing you how to create something like this. So obviously we do this, we have this in the Bootstrap framework. So Bootstrap enables us to actually achieve this. So you can still use the Bootstrap framework to actually do this. But in this learning curve, in this tutorial, I'm going to be showing you how to build this carousel with the vanilla JavaScript right from the scratch, and I'm sure you're going to have a good time. You're going to learn a lot. It took me quite some time to put this up, so I just want everyone to follow my lead, and you're going to have a good time ahead. Okay, the first thing you need to do is to create a folder. Okay, I have a folder right here called slider project. So just create a folder, and in the folder you're gonna open 3 files. So we have the HTML file, we have a JavaScript file, and we have the CSS file. So right here is just an empty stuff in my HTML file. Okay, just the doc structure that I have here. So just create the CSS file. So I have the default styling I just had here, then app.js, just an empty file which we're going to be working on shortly. Okay, now go down to the index file and link your CSS file right here. Okay, very importantly. And lastly, make sure you have your images right here. Okay, so very important that you should have images that the dimensions are actually the same. Okay, so make sure the images that you're going to be having here, the dimensions are actually the same, so you don't get choked up when we start. All right, now let's move on to what we have to do. So the first thing we are going to do here is to create a div. So we have carousel -container. All right, so nextly, so this will be the div that covers everything. So we have next, we're gonna have carousel -slider. Okay, so inside this carousel slider is where the images are gonna be in. So we're just gonna create the image tag. So I'm gonna pass in the images that I have here. So just image folder right here. So I have image 1. Okay, so let's just copy and paste so that we don't waste time on any of them. So we have 2. Okay, so come here, I have 3, then come down here again, move the 1, just put 4. Okay, very easy, just follow my lead. And lastly, just put 5. All right, now this is it. Let's go check this out on our browser. Okay, all right. Oh, sorry for that. I think I let's do that again. All right, so we have this right here. Okay, so we have our 5 images right here. This is the first image, second, third, fourth, and 5th image that we have right here. So that's it. Now let's go back to our CSS file. So we're gonna start this with our CSS right now. So just go back to CSS. Now let's use carousel -container. All right, so the first thing we're going to do, we're going to give this a width of 60%, and we're going to give this a margin of auto. All right, so let's go check that out. Okay, it takes it to the center of the pack. So next thing we're going to have here, we're going to have dot carousel carousel hyphen slider. Okay, and now if you look at this closely, it's looking not too good. So we're just going to try to make this a little more look a little more attractive. So we're just going to have a display. Okay, so we're going to give it the flex. Okay, so let's go back to this. Let's go check this out. All right, so this is what we are seeing right now. Okay, so we have our images arranged right here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 5 images arranged. So what we're actually going to do here is that it's looking much better now. Okay, but we're going to have here, let's give this the width of 100%. Okay, and we're gonna give this, lastly we're gonna give this a CSS styling of height. We're gonna give it a height of 500 pixels. So let's go try that, see what that works. Okay, all right, now another thing you need to know is that this is not going to remain like this. We're not going to have it like this. Okay, instead we're going to use a property called overflow hidden, so it can be able to hide the remaining images inside this image. Okay, so let's go down, let's put that here. So let's put overflow. Okay, so we have hidden. So let's see what that looks like. Okay, so we have this hidden inside. The 5 images are right inside here. Okay, so that's it. Okay, let me increase this a little. All right, better. So that's much better. Okay, now the next thing we are going to do, we're going to put in a border. We're going to have a border right here. Okay, so that we know where the image is. Okay, the first image is, so we can recognize it. So we say border. We're going to have 5 pixel solid, then black. That's that. All right. Okay, so we have this right here. Okay, so next thing we're gonna do, I'm gonna take this off, this overflow for now. Okay, we don't need that for now, but when we need it, I'm gonna tell you, we're gonna bring it back. All right, so this is where the first image is gonna be starting with. Okay, so we are good to go in our JavaScript and do some manipulation that we enable this particular images begin to slide. Now before we move on, I'm going to do something really cool. So for these images to be able to, for it to be able to slide, continue sliding infinitely, so we're going to have to clone the first image and the last image. Okay, so let me just do that so you won't get confused. So we're just going to do something. So we're going to clone the last image to the first, and we're going to clone the first image to be the last. So let's do that. Firstly, let me take the last image. Okay, so just come here and put a yes. I'm going to have ID of first clone. Okay, so I'm going to have that here. So you just come here and take this off also, and put it down it here. And we're gonna have the ID of last clone. Okay, so let's go back and reload. All right, so we have this right here. Okay, so the image is supposed to start here. So whenever we click on the previous button, okay, it immediately goes to this. Okay, so that's what we want to do. It takes the image, it takes the if the loop right here. Okay, but we are going to need to as we did here, we're going to need to clone this up so that we can be able to work on how to loop this image whenever we click on the button. So we can use JavaScript to actually do this, but it will take a lot of time. So I just want to take you through a shorter process so that you can get this done in no time. All right, now let's move on to JavaScript. Okay, we're going to start with declaring of some variables. So here we're going to have constant, we have carousel slider. Okay, so we have document dot query selector. Okay, so we have in here dot carousel hyphen slider, put a semicolon right there. So here we have carousel constant, we have carousel images, so we're gonna have carousel images. So we have documents dot query selector all. So this one we're going to have query selector all because we are selecting all the images. So we have dot carousel hyphen slider, then we have img right there. Okay, so let's go check that. Okay, we have slider. Okay, we have the image right now. Okay, so the next thing we're going to be declaring is the button. So we have constant for priv btn. So we have document dot query selector. Okay, so let's go check what we have there. Oh, I think we omitted that, so let's quickly do that now. So we have priv btn. So we have id, we have priv btn. So next we have next btn. So come here, we have next btn. Okay, so let's go back to our JavaScript file. So here we have, we're going to put hash and priv btn. So we're going to copy and paste that. Next one we're going to declare is next btn. So we just have here next btn. So make sure you put a semicolon at the end of that. So that's it. That's all we have to do for declaring of the variables that we have here. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do here, since we want to monitor which image we are on, so we will need some kind of a counter. Okay, so next thing we're going to have here is some counter. Okay, so to monitor the image that we are on. Okay, so we're going to declare a variable for counter, and we're going to use the let because we are going to update this. Okay, so we're going to start from the first one, which is 1. Okay, so let's put a semicolon there. So the next thing we are going to be having to do is we're going to get the width of the image, so to know how much we need to slide. So we're going to get a width, so let's do something on that. So I'm going to comment on that. So we're going to get the width of the image. Okay, so we have declare a variable for size. Okay, so then we have carousel image. Then we're going to create 0. Okay, so picking one image. So we have client width. Okay, so we have client width. So with that, it gets us the width of the image when sliding through. Okay, so another thing here is that if you look here, let's go back to this. So if you look here, we have the duplicate image right as the first, but we don't want that. We want a process whereby the first image will be the image that this is actually starting with. Okay, so that's what we want to do. We want to do it such a way that the first image, this is the first image, this is where the whole slide will be starting with, not the cloned or duplicate image. So that's what we're going to do here. That's what I'm going to do now. So just follow my lead. So the next thing we're going to do here is we're going to have carousel slide. Okay, dot style dot transform. Oh, what's that? Dot transform. So we're going to assign. So we have translate X. Okay, so just put this here. All right, then we have plus, open a parenthesis, we have minus size. Okay, multiply by counter. Okay, so we have plus plus px, then we close that here, right here. So don't forget to put a semicolon at the end of the expression right there. Now let's go check that now. So hopefully we get that right. Okay, I think there is an error somewhere. Okay, let's go back. So we have this. Oh, okay. Sorry for that. So we've not linked this here. So let's try and do that. App.js. Okay, very important. Please, let's do that. All right. So get that done, and let's check that again. Okay, so we have that right here. Okay, so we have this already at the center of this. Okay, at the start of the slide. Okay, so it's very important that we have that right there instead of having it in the duplicate image. Now let's move on to the next step. So now we're going to have an event. So we're going to put an event listener on the button. So I'm just going to have that button listener. Okay, so I'm going to start with the next btn. So dot add event listener. So we're going to listen to click. Alright, now I'm gonna use ESC's arrow function. Okay, I'm sure you guys you know what this is. Okay, so it's an arrow function. That's the ESC's way of creating a function. So this is what it could have been. We could have just had a function here, but I'm using the arrow function to get that done. Okay, now for we to continue, we're going to use what we call a transition. So we must have a transition on each one of the slide. Okay, so we are sliding. Okay, so there must be a transition coming in place. So we have carousel slide dot style dot transition. So we're going to assign it. Then we have transform 0.4 second. Okay, is -in -out. Okay, so put a semicolon there. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do here is that we're going to put down the counter. Okay, so plus anytime we click on the button, it increases. Okay, it increases. So what we are going to do, let me show you something. So we just console.log, and then we're just gonna have counter right there. So let's go to reload. So just click F12. Okay, so it takes us to our console. So just click on next. So you see that whenever we click the next button, the counter is updated. So that's what we want to actually do there. So whenever we click on this, it updates the image with the new image. Okay, so we click, it updates it. That's what we are actually doing. So the next thing we're going to have here is to bring in this. So we're just going to copy this. Okay, so we're just going to copy this and paste it here. Alright, so this is what enables this, enables it. So you know, initially we have this right here. Okay, so if we add that, so once we add this right here, okay, so anytime we click on this, you see what it happens. So it just takes it to the next image. Okay, so it takes it to the next image, it takes it to the next image, it takes it to the next image. So that's it. Okay, so that's just what we actually do here. So let's go and do the previous button. So I'm just going to copy this and paste it here. So we're going to change this to brief, and then we're going to take this one to minus instead of plus. Okay, so let's go back and test that again. Okay, so change that, so take it back. So you see that is, so you see that there's actually an error. Okay, there's actually an error here, because what we want to do is that whenever we click to the end, it doesn't just end this way. Okay, so I'm going to be showing you what we are going to do to be able to debug this. There's a problem there. I'm going to show you what we're going to do. So we're going to use what we call an event listener called transition end. Okay, now let's move on. Alright, now we have carousel slide dot add event listener. So we're listening to the transition end. Okay, I'm gonna have my arrow function right here. Okay, now I'm just gonna explain some things for us. Now, how do we solve this problem? Now, the problem that's brought us here is actually this, because we want this in such a way that when we loop this back here, okay, it takes us back to our original image and continue the infinite loop. Okay, what we are trying to do is an infinite loop. So we are trying to do it in such a way that whenever we click this, it just takes us back to our original, to the original image. Okay, there's this, it takes us back to this original image, which is here, okay, which is this, and then it continues the loop. Okay, so that's what we're trying to achieve. That's the problem that we find ourselves in, because we can't just keep on clicking this, and obviously this is not kind of right, so you just keep on going and going. That's not what we want to do. So once you want it in such a way that whenever we click this button, this, which is the clone, okay, takes us, just loops it back to the original image, and it continues the loop. That's the loop process. It continues the slide, or should just continues it like that. So that's what we are trying to achieve. So the reason we have this transition end event listener, what this actually do here is that anytime the animation stops, the transition ends fires off. Okay, so this is the event listener that's going to enable us to achieve that particular thing, that solve that particular problem that we have on the UI, on the slider. I mean, now let's go check this. I'm just going to have console.log here. Here I'm going to have fired. Okay, so let's reload that. So go to F12. Alright, now let's click on this. So click on, so the moment the animation stops, that's when the transition end event listener fires up. So click, so it stops, it fires it off. Click again, it stops, it fires it off. Transition moves and it stops, it fires it off. So that's what this particular event listener helps us to do. So we are just trying to reset the transition and jump back to our original picture. That's what we want to do. Okay, we're trying to reset this whole transition, okay, so that anytime we click on this, we click on this, it just jumps back to our original picture, which is this clone jump back to the original picture, which is this, and it continues the loop. Okay, it continues the loop. That's what we are trying to achieve. Now let's go back. So we have here, let's take this off. So take that out. So we have if carousel image, just open a square bracket. So you have counter. So if the counter dot id is equals to first clone, then what are we going to execute? So we're going to do this. All right, we're going to have carousel slide dot style dot transition. Okay, obviously we've done this before, so we're going to have none. Okay, we're going to remove the transition. So obviously this is what we are supposed to be having there. Okay, we'll just take away the transition, and the reason why we take up the transition is because we want to translate to the original picture. We don't want to continue that that process. We want to translate, we want to take it to the original picture. Okay, so if you come down here, the reason why we are taking that, we are stopping the transition, is because we don't want this normal transitioning to move again. We just want this to jump back to the original image, which is this. That's why we are taking that off. So let's just continue, and I'm going to show you something else. So we just have counter equals to carousel image, carousel image dot length -2. Okay, so let's put a semicolon there. All right, so we just take this transform, okay, so that we're going to have that at the front. So we're going to translate it back to the actual image. Okay, so just come down here, so we reload, so just click on this previous button. Okay, so you see what is happening here. Okay, you see what is happening here. So we just, this is the actual, this is supposed to be the clone. Okay, but you see that whenever we reload this, we put previous button, this, which is the clone, jumps back to the original image. Okay, it jumps back to the original image, and you see that the flow now, there is a flow now. You see there is a flow now. Okay, there is now a flow. Okay, so you see that we're no more seeing that this has a we're no more seeing that there is actually a space here. No, now the flow is up now. The flow is up now. Okay, all because of what we actually did. So if you go through the next, you see the next one is not done. So you see that the flow is not actually on this. Okay, so we're just going to do that for the second one. What we're going to do is I'm just going to copy this and paste it down here. Alright, so I'm just going to change this, instead of first to last clone. Okay, then this one I'm going to take remove this and minus counter. Okay, so that's just all that we need to do right here. So let's go back and reload. Okay, so we just click this and okay, so you see what is happening here. It's now taking us back to this. Okay, so it just jumps through and take us to the original image. So we are just jumping position. That's what we are actually doing. Okay, so we are resetting the transition and it jumps back to our original image. That's what we are trying to achieve, and that's what we have actually done here. Okay, so there's still actually a bug here. Okay, there is a bug which I'm going to show you shortly. So let's just come down here, go to your main.css, and let's have overflow, and then let's put that hidden. Okay, so come back here, reload. Okay, so everything now is inside this. So we just see it's now looking very much better. Okay, but you see, I'm going to show you something. There's a problem here. If I go and click fast, you see that it breaks the flow. Okay, so come here, you see it breaks the flow. So that's a very big problem which we're going to solve right now. So let's go back to our code, JavaScript code. So how do we solve this particular problem is what we are going to do here now. So firstly, okay, so we're just going to go to the previous. Okay, so we're going to add this. So we have if counter is less than equals to 0. Okay, so we just put here return. Okay, return. So this will help us to solve that particular problem. So let's go and check that. Reload. So let's go to previous. Okay, see that it has actually solved that problem for us, but the next is not yet solved. Okay, so let's go back and work for the next. So the next one now, how are we actually going to do that? We're going to have here, so go to the next. So we say if counter is greater than equals to carousel image. All right, so we have -1, then we'll come down here and put the return right here. So put a semicolon there. So with this, that particular bug has been dealt with. So let's reload and then let's click on next. Okay, so you see that I think there is a problem. So let's do that. Okay, the problem is still there. So what I think let's come back here and check where the error is. Okay, I think there's something omitted here. So carousel images dot length. Okay, let's put it dot length there. Okay, so we have counter greater than equals to carousel images dot length -1. Okay, so with this that problem should be solved. So let's go check again and click on next. Okay, so you see it's quite it's working perfectly now. Okay, now all right, now let's go and change this to an icon. So just come down here and let's go to the website font awesome CDN. Okay, so I don't want us to waste much of our time. Just go to cdngs.com. So we have there, so just open a new tab. Okay, so it takes us to that website. Okay, so without wasting much of our time, all right, just come here and copy this and so 6.21 font awesome. So come down here and paste it. Oh, sorry, you have to create a link for that and paste it right here. Okay, so we're gonna go down back there and so we just say search font awesome icons. Okay, so just go down here, font awesome icons. So click on this. So it takes us to the font awesome icons. All right, so I'm gonna search for arrow. Okay, so we have one left here and then we have one right here. So let's pick that. So let's take the right. Okay, so we're gonna copy this and paste it here, and then we'll go back. Okay, so copy this here and we'll also paste this here. All right, without wasting much of our time, so let's just copy and paste this here. Okay, now let's move on to CSS to style this particular stuff here. Before we move, I'll just come down here and we have ID brief button. So that's the only thing we need to do here now, which is very important that we do. So we have ID, so we have next btn. Okay, now let's go and style this stuff right here. All right, so we just go down to our CSS. Obviously we need to remove this. Okay, we don't need this anymore. So go to your CSS and we have let's style that. So we have brief btn. Okay, so I'm just gonna put the position to absolute. All right, then we have top 50%. We have z index. We take our z index to 10. Then we have left. We give it 50%. Then next we give it font size of 20 pixel, sorry, and we have color of white, and lastly we're going to give it a cursor of pointer. So let's go and check that now. Okay, so we'll come back here, check that here. Okay, I think okay, it's not well placed, so let's go back and shift it to the right position. Okay, let's take this, move this 50 to 5. Let's go check that out again. Okay, so we have that here. Okay, I think it's not showing. Let's take this here. So let's put position relative here. Okay, let's do that. Let's see. Okay, I think here it's now here. Okay, all right, perfect. Okay, now let's copy this and paste this right here. So this will change this to next btn, then this will change this to right, and I think that's all. So let's go back. Okay, so we have this right here to take this to the right, and we have this right here to take this to the left. So you see how easy this looks. Okay, so that's all about the carousel. So you can choose to use the bootstrap carousel to achieve this, or you can use the vanilla JavaScript way of building this to actually do it. So it's just a win-win for it's a win-win to use any of the options that are available. So this is just how to build the carousel slider with your vanilla JavaScript. Okay, very easy. So you can choose to put a caption right there. Okay, so any way that you want it, you can still move on and do something creative on this. All right, thank you for your time. I'm sure you learned something important today, and see you when I come back with another video. Thank you for your time, and bye for now.